I move for no man, no man, no man, no man, no
We're calling a draw.
man.
Just a flesh wound, 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 just a flesh wound.
What, man?
Tonin, you are ugly, bro.
Are you
What
doing
is
this?
on your head?
Are you doing this shit in a truck bed right now? What the fuck is behind you?
It's my room. I got my kids sleeping in the other room, so I got stuck in the bedroom.
How old is he?
Dude, what died on your head? What is that? It's like a muskrat up there.
Yeah, baby. I'm working on a Joe Exotic mullet right now, so I'm gonna just grow it out as much as possible and then cut it into the Joe Exotic.
All right, that's a good plan at least. At least you have a plan. Something needs to be said for that. Jeez.
How old's your kid, John?
He's good, man. He's I think he's teething or something. It's like 4 months now. No, 3 months. So
He's
I started
fresh.
to do the teething stuff, and he just cries for no reason sometimes. Most of the time he's just hungry though. He's getting big. Fat old kid.
Yo, I haven't seen pictures in a while, but he's a big boy.
I'm telling you, man. He was like I guess like kind of tiny in the beginning because my friend had a kid 2 months before me, so I was always comparing him to him. And I guess the amount they grow in 2 months is insane. So he's like 16 pounds already, and he was 6 pounds. So he's put on triple his weight. Every month he's put on like 5 pounds, which is pretty insane.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you pretty much do the same thing in between fights, so.
I put on 5 pounds a day.
What weight?
Do it right now.
At what weight do you walk around at?
I mean, I used to walk around at like 40, 45. Now I'm probably like 50, 55 walking around. I'm a little heavier than I should be, but I just haven't fought in a year, so it's like
At least 40 to 45 pounds of it is cock weight though, so you know I can't count all it.
No, I got the opposite going on. Mine goes in. But it's all my
Frankie,
ass.
it looks like you're playing Call of Duty right now with that headset. This is amazing.
I love it.
Yeah.
Is Frankie frozen for you guys?
As soon as
Frozen.
I get off this, I'm going right on Warzone, bro. Call of Duty sick. There's nothing to do.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, what have you been doing? Like, have you been working out at all? Like, what have you been doing? I know, like.
I do like maybe like probably about a mile jog every day. I'm not great on running with my legs. My knees are fucked. But so I do like a mile jog every day, shadow box for like 20 minutes, and get some push-ups in. But that's really it. But that's not like, it's not going to do anything for me. I mean, I was still thinking I would maybe fight in 2 weeks. And then they asked me to move it. And then I said, they asked me to move it to May 9th. So it would just be another 2 weeks after that. And I mean, I wouldn't be in shape April 18th. I wouldn't be in shape May 9th. So I said, whatever, man, I'll just go in there and throw. You know?
I wish
it goes. It should be fun, you know?
No fucks.
Yeah, they asked me to move. So I said, all right. And so that was a mile job. But I really don't want to, like, even risk getting sick. I'm like the biggest like stay away from me person there is right now.
Yeah, you asked me about this like a month ago because I normally see this guy.
I know you're gonna give me some science stuff because you're smart, but
he grabs me. He's like, is this a big deal? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I'm worried about my kid. I'm like, your kid's fine. Like, it'll be fine, but like, just be careful of your parents and shit.
Yeah, I'm nervous about myself too. I mean, I have asthma. I've had lung issues numerous times. I get pneumonia every winter. I'm thinking like I'm dead if I get this shit. I mean, I'm pretty dead. But hey, what can you do? I really don't want to get it just because I want to like at least live a little bit, you know, just for a little bit longer.
Especially live a life where you're not an athlete. You can live like a regular guy for a while.
Exactly, it'd be nice. I mean, I've been kind of doing that now. This whole going up to heavyweight thing is great, man. That's why I could take a fight on 3 weeks, 2 weeks notice, just because whatever. As long as I don't gotta make weight, fuck it. Go in there and just fight, man. You know.
Did you have
I haven't done before?
Did you have an opponent?
Yeah, I was supposed to fight Ben Rothwell. I don't know if you know who that is.
Damn,
big
dude.
Fucking ogre looking dude.
Yeah, he's a monster. That would have been a fucking war.
Yeah, it would have been a
that
fun
was
fight, man. I would have liked it. I think, he's a guy. He's not gonna try to take me down. He's not gonna try to throw spinning crazy stupid shit, which can go and then throw big heavy punches and kicks at each other. Should be pretty fun. I mean,
That'd
he
be a
throws
fun one
some
to watch.
weird shit, but it should be. I think it'd be pretty fun.
he's like awkward.
Awkward as hell, man. That's why, like, he's so like bad, and like the way he looks at like when he's doing things, it looks so bad, but somehow he's good. Like he's beating some good dudes. So I don't know how.
He has shit technique, but gets it done.
It's like weird, and the punches look horrible, but they must be strong. I don't know. I guess I'll tell you if I once I get hit by him.
When you're doing your training at this point in your career, what does your sparring look like? Like, how often do you spar? I'm always just interested in like how everybody, kind of operates.
I mean, how old are you now, Gary?
28.
20. Yeah. So like when I was your age, and starting and stuff like that, when I probably went for my first like probably 6-7 years of my career, I would spar at least 3 times a week. And I would spar, and they would be all MMA rounds. You know what I mean? But now, as I get to the later part of my career, I'm doing like probably one MMA day. It's usually Saturday, and then I do one boxing day or kickboxing if I can find a guy. But it's hard to find guys kickboxing.
Sure.
Being in Long Island and stuff like that, it's hard to find other guys to kickbox. So I'll usually do boxing. We come from a really good boxing gym, me and Chris, so we usually have a lot of good boxers to get beaten up by, and
nice.
I'll go with those guys. So I'll do boxing once and then MMA once, but it just a little bit less after an MMA spar, man. Kicking shins and elbows and taking down or taking someone down. It's a little bit more on your body, a little bit more taxing on your body. Boxing's a little bit less.
When you do your MMA sparring, are you doing little glove sparring or 16 ounce?
No, we do big glove sparring. Everything, we've always done that, which I kind of like doing little glove sparring. I've done them at Henzo's before, the little glove sparring, and that is cool. But when I do that stuff more, I'll roll around with maybe Weidman or something like that, and we'll do we'll start like off drilling, and then we wind up just trying to kill each other. So,
yeah, dude,
I mean,
it's so dangerous.
Yeah, it is. I miss the little glove sparring. You do get some cool stuff from there, but you gotta have the good partners too, man. You can get some bad partners that don't know what they're doing, try going crazy.
I don't do any little glove sparring really, other than like grappling stuff, like showing punches and things. But man, it does give you a weird feeling when you actually get in to go fight when you're fighting with the little gloves and you've been sparring this whole time with the
very
gloves.
different.
So it's strange, but at the same time, man, like the stuff that I've seen during the little glove sparring sessions with these guys getting cut open and all kinds of craziness, man, it just guys getting knocked out for nothing, it's just, I don't know, it doesn't seem worth it to me.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I haven't been cut in sparring, knock on wood, in 7 years, probably 6 years. But that little glove sparring is a lot more dangerous. Yeah. And there's some people that just, don't necessarily do it right. They want to come hard and want to prove a point and this and that. I mean, so you don't always get the good partners to do that with. Like, I trust Weidman because we've been training together since we started, so we could do stuff like that together. But
sure,
you gotta make sure you get the right partner. But we do it very rarely. Like you said, you can really get hurt doing that stuff, man. And at this point, I mean, kind of know how I'm gonna fight. So always learning, but you're picking up little things, not the big things at this point.
Yeah. Hey, so next time we see you fighting, it'll probably be on the UFC island.
I mean, listen, like I said, they asked me to move my fight, and I at first told them yes, whatever, I'll do the May 9th thing, and then I said, after talking to Katie and my mother and stuff like that, we just decided not to do it, just because I am at such a risk to, like, if I do get this shit, I'm probably dying. So we decided that I'm probably not going to do it, just because I don't want to do the traveling. I don't want to then getting back here and then being around my kid and everything like that. So I kind of just took myself out of the hat on that one. So whenever this thing gets back up and running, I'm probably going to wait a little bit just to make sure things are back to normal before I start really getting back in there because I don't want to die.
How do you feel about the island stuff though? Like,
I think it's
kinda
cool.
like
I mean, it's a cool
implementation.
concept for sure.
you get a location, they'll like pick you up in a private jet and take you to an island just to
Crazy
throw
shit.
down.
What's that? Enter the Dragon?
Enter
Is that
the,
what Bruce Lee did,
it's
right?
literally is Enter the Dragon.
Seriously.
Fucking amazing.
I mean, it's some crazy shit, but I mean, rich dudes get what they want.
I heard
found a way to
today,
make this work, bro.
I don't know how valid it is. I heard today that that some higher up from Disney told that he couldn't do it though.
Yeah, that's
they
why
canceled
the
it.
April 18th is canceled. I mean, I guess as rich as you are, there's always someone richer. So,
Yeah.
I mean, head of Walt Disney must have a couple of bucks.
Rose from the grave.
Pretty freaking crazy. So if he's getting told no and he's actually, sitting down and saying and agreeing with someone, then it must be someone pretty high up there.
Yeah.
I saw some of his interviews. He made sure that everybody knew that he was ready to go.
Oh, absolutely.
He had to say it. He's like,
say,
listen, I made it happen. I'm ready to go. I had to stand down though. It wasn't my choice.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see. How soon do you guys think it's going to be before anybody's able to fight again? Because it seems like, I mean, hell, if he was trying to fight that hard to get it done to start a private island, I mean, he was pushing as hard as you could possibly push to have a fight. So, I mean, these other organizations aren't really doing that. So, like, how long do you guys think it's going to be before we actually see another fight?
I think it's going to be a few months until things kind of cool down, until they can even really talk about it realistically. Like right now, like Dana's trying to make that happen. Like we're in the heat of this, and it's like we still don't know what this thing is about entirely. I think it's going to be. I'm looking into this like late summer, if not later, before we get anything going. And I think it's going to be done more remotely. I think it's going to be like skin and bones, kind of operation with as little personnel as possible. Just the fighters. Camps are going to be super small. No fans. I mean, Bill Gates was saying like we're not going to have any kind of mass group meetings until we have a vaccine, and that's a year and a half away.
I think that's a little ridiculous, personally, but we'll see.
I agree. It's a bit much. But
I mean, I personally wouldn't want to fight until September. I think something like that around there. And I haven't fought any over a year now, and I could definitely, it'd be nice to get another. You're not fighting, you don't get paid.
Yeah.
But it's something I'd rather wait and be safe with, just because this does seem pretty crazy, and I don't know. I'd like to see other things going and other things happening, and then them being okay, and then I'll go. I'll let someone else be the guinea pig.
You're not going to be the canary in the coal mine. Yeah, let the other guy do it.
Hey, John, I'm always interested in knowing how people entered this whole MMA craziness. What's your backstory? How'd you come about the sport?
I was playing football in college, and doing pretty good with it. A couple-time All-American, blah blah blah, no big deal. My arms are huge.
He's being really modest right now. He's like a fucking freak athlete and one of the strongest human beings I've ever seen.
John.
Yeah, I always say that. Like people ask me, like, if you're an athlete, I don't know that I'm so much of an athlete as I am tough and strong and like explode. I'm not like you give me a basketball, I can't do anything with a basketball. You know what I mean? Like I'm not athletic. I can't hit it.
You could crush it.
But yeah, I'm tough. I'm strong, and you know what I mean. That's it. But yeah, I was good at football, and I had a couple tryouts with a couple different NFL teams. I think I was like maybe 4 or 5 different teams, practice squad for a little bit. And then I was like just tired of going state to state, getting cut. It just seemed like something I didn't want to do. And I knew guys, who went to college with me that went that road, and they made it. But it was just a long process, and it's, years off your life that I didn't really want to deal with. So I said, let me try fighting. I had a buddy of mine, Dom Stanko. Chris knows him well.
Crazy ass Dom.
Yeah. He was my high school wrestling coach. I saw him fight once, maybe like 2-3 years prior to me doing the football NFL thing. And I said, I'm going to try that one day. And once I was done, I gave it a try and got pretty good at it. Like within, I think maybe 4 months. Yeah, I think it was, I I started in September. I had my first pro fight in February, and so maybe 4 or 5 months, and I was in there fighting pro. And
Well,
I like
it-
how
it-
I like how his mentality was, football, it's a little much. Let me try just fucking fist fighting, motherfucker.
Yeah, well, at least
Let me go fight people in cages.
at least, but the football was me. The problem with it was I had these coaches, these fat guys, fat, short dudes telling me how horrible I was at football, or I couldn't do this, or I couldn't do that. I'm like, so I didn't want someone else telling me, determining how good or my wins and losses, pretty much. At least with
Sure.
fighting, you go in there, it's on you, So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have some coach tell me you did this wrong or that one, that's right, or you're not good enough to play here. So F them, man. I'll go. At least in fighting, you determine your own wins and losses. No one else can take that away from you.
That's a cool thing about individual sports for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And-
And yeah, the other part, I know Chris was talking about this was, a little earlier was, like big part of me fighting in a ring was, I never really lost. I always did good at fighting outside of rings until a couple different times that I had some situations where I didn't fighting dudes that didn't believe in rules, I guess. And I've been
Prison rules, they
stabbed
call
on
that.
3 different occasions. I've been hit with
Fuck, man.
2 different baseball bats, and
All right,
I
man.
had a
You
lacrosse
can't-
stick broken over my shoulder.
you
got
can't
some
just
good,
scroll over those stories. You gotta give
You
some
gotta tell
details,
at least.
man. Come
You gotta
on,
tell
dude.
at least one of those stories.
Come on, dude.
Yeah,
So
I've had
we're
some
both from
bad-
Long Island. We're both from Long Island, and like growing up in those areas, like shit happens on Long Island. You fight. Like you go to bars, you hang out.
Stupid
You go to
things,
college
man.
towns,
Yeah.
like you're fighting. Like that's what Long Island
That's what's
is.
happening, man. Yeah, I mean, for me, fighting was like, you know what? I really didn't have a fear step in there. I know I'm not gonna get stabbed. I know I'm not gonna get shot.
Already
I
been
know I'm
there.
not gonna get with a bat. So I'm like, yeah, why not? Let me try it out.
Amazing.
So yeah. The worst stab I got, the slice was I had 85 staples down my back. Was a pretty bad one. I had like a zipper down my whole back.
Dude,
It
he's got a
someone-
scar. He's got a
someone
scar on his
yeah.
back. Like literally, it's longer than it's bigger than the screen. You literally can't even. It's crazy.
Someone got you from
Yeah.
behind? Like they
Was it
stabbed you
Yeah,
from
it
behind?
was
The box cutter, right?
sliced me, box cutter. It was at Bogart. I don't know if any of you guys know that.
What is
Local
that?
bar that you go to, and I was a bouncer
wait.
there, and
Hold
I
up,
walked the
so-
girl out to her car. Yeah. I
People
worked
walk-
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
People just carrying around random box cutters to clubs?
Well, I mean, the college I went to was Hofstra. I was in the middle of, the hood pretty much. All colleges, if you are in the hood. So Hofstra's in the hood. It's in Hempstead, and it's pretty bad there. And these were guys. I walked this girl out to her car, and I was walking back around the side of the bar, and I saw a kid on my team. This kid on my team is one of the biggest kids you'll ever see. 6'5", 320, but like Jack 320, all steroids, monster. This kid. And
All Deca.
he's there with his girl, and there's these 3 guys around them, and they're talking. They're like, I don't know what's going on. And I walk over, and because I was working inside, I walk over. I'm like, yo, you guys gotta chill, man. Like, get the hell out of here. We weren't letting them in the bar. We had seen them earlier in the night. They were older guys, you could tell from the neighborhood, that didn't belong in there. And they were like, blah, blah, yelling. So I just yoke one dude up. I put him in a rear naked jiu-jitsu before he knew a word of jiu-jitsu. Put him in a rear naked.
He's got like a
The
hand
other
on
2
top of the
guys
head,
are,
like old WWE.
Crushing his noggin.
Yes.
Exactly, just squeezing. And I'm just squeezing this guy, and the other 2 guys are on my back. So I'm thinking, let me just put this guy to sleep, and then I'll fight the other 2 dudes, or at least the guy 6'5" would grab one of the guys, right? The guy who I'm even involved in a fight for doesn't do a thing. He just watches these dudes as the 3 of them are punching me, and which I didn't know at the
Yo.
time.
Good teammate.
iced my
Good teammate.
back as I was
What a team player,
poking
man.
This guy.
This is
Oh,
why you
man.
did an individual sport.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was
So
the
then,
moment that
I
he
let
realized.
the guy go. He's sleeping on the floor, and I turn around, and the other 2 dudes are running off. He's like, oh, and my buddy comes up to me. thanking me. He's like, thank you so much, blah, blah. He's like, oh, wait, your shirt's ripped. I'm like, my shirt's ripped. And then we looked. I was like, you could see muscle. I was like filleted, bro. And then 85. I couldn't feel razor blades so damn sharp. Couldn't feel a thing. But
yeah, that's pretty much the story most people tell with stabbings is like you just don't really know until
you
well
don't
after
know.
it happens.
Yeah.
You don't need too much adrenaline.
Yeah, I've had a bottle sticking out of my shoulder a couple times. I've had some bad ones, man, but that one was the worst where it was the longest staples. But to finish that story, the maybe 2 or 3 days after I got my staples out, I beat the hell out of that kid on my team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had my knee on his face and I was just slapping him as hard as he can in the stomach, and he couldn't move. It was great, man. As big as they are, man, you know, it don't matter.
Serves him right, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Farmer is
I was a
real.
little bit of a wild man in college, so I became less wild as I started a fighting career, which sounds pretty weird, but it's true.
It doesn't hurt that you were a good wrestler, right?
Yeah, well, especially with football, I was a linebacker, so you don't miss tackles if you're a good wrestler, and that was a big thing for me. And then just wrestling, that's the number one thing you need if you're gonna be a fighter. In my opinion, is you need to know how to wrestle, and from there you can learn everything else. But at least there you could, you know, determine where the fight's gonna go, standing or on the ground. You know,
especially back in the day.
Yeah. And,
but
you
that
know,
was
being
one
a big guy too, that was a big part of it. That, you know, I really haven't been taken down. I think I got one of the highest takedown defense percentages in the UFC. I've only been taken down, I think, like 2 or 3 times in my whole career. So
an interesting thing about John is he chose, like, he had the wrestling background, linebacker, whatever, but like he really went into the striking. You know, our coach Keith Trimble is big on punching and kicking and kickboxing. And John was in the gym every fucking day in the beginning. Every fucking day.
And all your sparring sessions.
Yeah, and he came to we traveled all over. We went to Jersey. We'd go to Brooklyn. He would always come. I was like, I want to come. Let's go. Let's go. Let's see.
It's good to watch. There's nothing else to do, but you learn a lot watching. Especially a guy like Jerry, so technical, man, and you can learn so much good stuff. I mean, I'm the least technical guy I ever see, but you can learn different things and you find things that work for you. And I learned a lot watching this guy and watching a lot of people. I tried to be in there a lot, and you know, life's a little bit different now. It makes me feel bad that I'm not in there as much.
One of the tough things with MMA, man, is to, like, you know, even being at Henzo's is like definitely like a great MMA hub for sure. Yeah. But like, you know, in order to get to watch the best boxers in the world and stuff like that, like I'm pretty much just on YouTube. You know what I mean? It's not like there's the best boxers in the world walking in and out of that place every day, or like Muay Thai guys or whatever the case may be. So it's like, it's great that you were able to, like, you know, kind of travel around and watch some of the best in the world.
I mean, I had a world champion in my gym. I mean, you weren't a world champion yet, but he was on his way. That's for sure. I knew that.
Sure.
We have a lot of good guys. I mean, another guy called Adam, and we have a lot of really good six strike, and Terrence Hill. I mean, he's our kickboxing instructor.
Bad motherfucker.
Dude, you got to see this guy kickbox, man. So skilled and technical, and you can learn so much just watching these guys. Yeah, and there's guys at Henzo's too. You just got to find what, you know, the stuff that works for you and different things like that you could do that for sure. You know,
I just been watching. You know what I mean? Like,
I
agree with you. Some guys out there, but it's like there's something about, like, especially for jiu-jitsu, like right now with what we have at Henzo's with like me and Gordon and like some of these other guys. Like, we literally get to watch some of the other best grapplers like in the world, and other people learning can do that too. Whereas like with MMA, because there's so many like little bits and pieces of like things that you got to pick up for like Muay Thai and boxing and stuff, it's like there might be some really high quality MMA fighters, like George might come by, right? Like, and he's got some things to teach and you can learn from, right? But I don't get to watch the guy spar every day, right? I've watched him before, but it's not like every single day. Like if I was at TriStar, for instance, I'd get to watch like maybe more like UFC fighters sparring all the time. You got to like watch like professional boxers, you know, sparring all the time. It's like it's a unique thing to be able to witness that.
Absolutely.
Learning, you know.
Yeah, I was definitely lucky being able to do that for sure. Learning a lot from, in my
Well,
opinion, some of the best strikers in the world, and that's what I think made me gravitate more. As a wrestler, you see most wrestlers who like the jiu-jitsu game more. I was more into the striking stuff, and I think that was just being around the guys I was around. I was like, man,
Sure.
I want to do that,
Yeah,
That'd be
Long Island's an interesting place for that. It kind of became like a big MMA hub. We've got Ray Longo's gym, our gym, Belmore Kickbox Academy with Keith Trimble. And then like really, it's not that far away, Longo's gym and now Law MMA. So like John had the ability to train with Chris, who we all went to high school, not together in the same schools. We all wrestled around the same time. So having those kind of guys, having access to those guys as training partners, and like you said, Gary, be able to watch all these guys.
So important.
Even like John said about, Terrence Hill, he was a super high level pro kickboxer, and we were all in the same gym, and we were training at each other all the time. So
you could have a guy screaming at you to do a 1-2 all day on pads and like try to tell you how to do it and this, that, and the other thing. But it's so different, like physically watching somebody that knows what they're doing it. You know what I mean? Because there's something so pure about that.
Chris is over at 365 as well. So, Chris, how that's a room full of killers too.
Yeah, for sure. You got Kamaru Usman in there as a current middleweight UFC champ. Training with my guy Corey Peacock and Henry Hooft, who's fucking awesome coach, awesome guy, was an awesome fighter. It's just Michael Chandler's in there, and these guys, they're getting after it every day. Michael Johnson, who is a fucking badass and a super cool guy. So you got all these guys, and they just amp it up. Everything is just like rev to the degree, And then we got guys coming in and out of there too, like what else am I thinking about? Like Luke Rockhold, for example.
Down there for
Jarrell Miller, undefeated heavyweight prospect, heavyweight championship contender, comes down there and kickboxes. Like he'll go down there and literally throw on shin pads and start kickboxing with guys. And
that's pretty cool.
It's just cool to be around these kinds of environments and see these guys, these killers, just in jam packing gyms.
So John, how did you end up with a bottle in your shoulder? I'm like, how?
We love stories.
How the fuck does that happen?
Wasn't even bouncing for that one. That was at a house party actually, and a kid thought I like it was like a bunch of jackets on a table, and I was sitting on the table. He's like, you steal my jacket, bro? I'm like, probably you're right there, man. And he's like, nah, you stole my jacket. I'm like, yo, get away from me, or something like that. And I'm like twice the size. Like, this is legit. This is a funny story about this. This was a week, not even, maybe 3 days before my pro day at Hofstra, which means that's when I'm doing my 40-yard dash, and this is when I'm meeting all the NFL scouts and stuff like that. This is 3 days before that. I'm just at a party. I wasn't even drinking. I was just hanging out, going to see some friends from home. This was I was done with college, so 3 days before my pro day. And so I'm not trying to fight. I'm like, dude, just get away from me. And I'm huge at this time. This is 255 with a six-pack. I was a monster, bro.
I was gonna ask you about the other guy.
Yeah.
Because you don't just randomly pick a fight with John.
Might have been 5'9", 135. And he's like, yeah. He's like, hold up, bro. And he walks in the other room, and he's like, yo. And he doesn't realize the entire house is kids I went to high school with. He's like, and he calls 3 kids who none of us knew, and they walk over. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Before I could even say a word, the kid smashes me in the face with a bottle. Smashes me in the face with a bottle. I'm like, oh, that's it. And the whole basement is all my friends. We beat the hell out of these kids, right? So the one kid's on the floor. I think I knocked out pretty bad. And he's on the floor. The other kids in the closet. My friends are like holding him back or whatever in the closet. And he's like, you killed my brother. You killed my brother. And then eventually he woke up. We go upstairs. One of the kids sprinted up the stairs. This happened in a basement, right? One of the kids sprinted up the stairs, and he went and got a knife. Thank God we had friends up there, and they like stopped him from getting a knife. So whatever, this spills out into the street, and we're all, it's all like everyone's, trying to stay calm. Everyone's, let's get out of here. Let's leave before the cops come, this and that. And before we could do that, my friend gets cracked over the head with the Southern Comfort bottle. These kids are still going. There's 4 of them. There had to be 50 of us, and these kids are still going. We're like legitimately doing everything we can to not fight. And he cracks my friends over the head with a Southern Comfort bottle, and it like cuts his neck. Right? I'm like,
What?
oh shit! I see my friend bleeding out of his neck. I'm like,
So was he trying like to kill him?
I tackle this guy over a table, and I just start pounding him until like you know you hear that nasty like it's just hitting flesh, like he stopped moving, right? But as I was tackling him over the table, he stuck the bottle that broke over my friend's head into my shoulder, right? Stuck it into my shoulder. So I'm like, again, I have no idea. This bottle's sticking in my shoulder, right? I'm like, all right, yo, we got to go now, because I thought I killed this dude. I kept hitting him, and it was bad. Right, so I'm like, all right, we got to go, right? So I grab my friend who got stabbed in the neck. I'm like, I'm the only one sober. I'm like, let's go to the hospital. I start driving. I'm like, yo, who's squirting water on me? I'm like, yo, stop. Let's go. I'm trying to get us to the hospital. You guys stop being idiots. We get to the hospital finally. We walk in the door. All of a sudden, I look like to the left. I see something like, in my peripheral. It's my shoulder is spitting blood. Like you would like out of the movie, spitting blood. I don't know how, but it was spitting blood. No joke. Like, oh,
Jesus
shit.
Christ.
It's like in the movies where the guy goes like, I think I have a paper cut. And he's got his
arms gone.
his arm gone.
I
Just
swear to God, I'm like,
full
what
Kill Bill
the
spray.
hell? I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I got a little woozy. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. I can't believe I got that much blood. I was a little bit of a bitch. I couldn't believe I saw that much blood. I'm like, this is scary. We go in the Nassau emergency room right by Hofstra over there. We walk in. It's the same doctor who stapled me, bro, because it was in my back, the shoulder, right? It's the same doctor. He's like, you gotta be kidding me. I did this too. He's like, where are you going, bro? The guy's laughing.
You didn't learn your
He's
fucking
like, you
lesson.
gotta be kidding me. He wanted
He's
to
like,
kill me, this doctor.
John, you're back? What the hell?
Yes, the same doctor. He's like, I did this one too, because I'm laying on my stomach. It was, again, the guy got me in the back. And it's like, it was a gnarly scar because it was a jagged bottle. Like, it doesn't leave a clean scar. And it was gross. So I got like, I don't know, like 50-something stitches in my shoulder. My friend got 2 stitches on his neck. He's screaming in the back of the car, I'm gonna die. My mom. He's like screaming, holding his neck, right? I'm calling my mother, right? His mother shows up at the hospital, and he gets 2 damn stitches. I wanted to kill this fucking kid, and I've got 50-something stitches in my back. Ever. Oh my God, terrible! His mom's freaking out, and I'm like the one that's almost dead. They were legit like prying my shoulder open. It was disgusting, peeling the glass out of it.
Dude, no, that scar is gnarly too. It looks like a fucking cannonball hit him in the back. Like it's just like it's just fucking. It's like it's just a hole in
my shoulder. Yeah.
Do you think people fuck with you more because you're like a big fucking jack dude? Like, do you think that actually?
100%, man.
That's
I'm telling you, like, I haven't gotten one fight since I started fighting, thank God. But the bigger you are, the more you're gonna get fucked with. 100%.
That's so
I'd much
crazy.
rather be one of you little dweebs, you know? I'm telling you, I get fucked with more than anything. And like, they just automatically assume you're a big asshole when you're a big dude. I mean, I try to be nice no matter what.
Complex of like, I gotta kill the biggest gorilla, and then I'm gonna be
absolutely.
Man, you know.
That's what it is. If you take John down, that's the belt, dog. The street belt. You're the champ, dude.
Yeah, man.
And it's funny how they go all right to lethal force. Like it's right to
Choice they have. The dude was 135 pounds.
I'm telling you, this
not to say it was the right thing to do, but he really didn't have. It's not like he was gonna win in a fair fight.
No joke. No. This was the most jacked I've ever been in my life. This was right before. I went to the fucking. To meet all the pro scouts. I had a black eye from getting hit in the face with a bottle because that was the bottle hit me in the face. It didn't break. That was how the whole thing started.
Jesus.
I have a black eye and 50 stitches in my shoulder.
Wait, so your pro day was off, right? Like you couldn't.
I did everything.
Is that when you did the bench? Yo, this fucking guy did 225 31 times.
Wait, is this after stabbed?
If you Google it, it will. Yeah, pro day thing. If you Google it, it'll only say 30 times, but they didn't give me credit for my first rep because I went I went too fast or whatever, so it was really 31. And I ran a 4.540 at 255 pounds.
With
so
glass
I was
skin on his shoulder.
huge, bro.
And he's
Six
not a
pack,
good athlete.
The biggest
This
I've ever
asshole.
been.
Oh, come on,
Not a good
son.
athlete. Right.
Not an athlete. I'm telling
Not
you,
a good
bro.
athlete. Okay.
Yo, so
Strong and fast.
I can
he's
just
like the guy
imagine
that
the numbers. The numbers you would have put up if you weren't stabbed.
Yeah, if you didn't have a hole in your shoulder.
50 stitches in my shoulder. I did that with no joke. So 3 days before, the scout's like, what happened to your eye? I'm like, I walked into a door. Like, imagine how bad that looks. Nobody's talking to you.
Savage.
Still got a couple looks, but that
they
didn't look
knew that you weren't ready. You weren't made for football. You were made to fight. Like this
Yeah,
guy's a
well, I mean, all
fighter.
my coaches knew I was a nut job, man. And I was a lot more wild back in the day. It was bad. I actually fought my like legitimately fist fought my head football coach at Hofstra University. He tried throwing me out of practice, and I tackled him to the ground and just started wailing. It was bad. So I mean, I've been in some bad ones.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm glad you shared that story with us, because there's a bunch of bros that come up to you with urban legends, and I feel like I got one now. I'm like, I know this fucking dude that got stabbed and put up these numbers and fucking just threw down.
Those are actually all my stories now.
50 stitches.
And every chick that I ever meet in a bar is gonna hear all the same stories.
Yep. In 20
It
years,
must
I'm gonna be
be.
like,
I'm actually gonna have to
the only
cut
reason
my
I get a
back
girl.
with a knife just to prove it. I'll be like, look at the scar, you know.
send us
He's
a
like,
picture. You're
yeah,
back.
I'm
You gotta send us a picture for us to
You
post.
need
Dude,
those
it's
stories
so
with that
fucking
haircut,
hard.
man. Definitely.
Yeah, Gary. He's getting no poontang.
Not
That
wrong.
off on top.
Oh my god. Too funny, bro. Too funny. With that haircut, you definitely know.
He's like, John's like, what is that, a muskrat? What the fuck you got
I
on
don't
your
know
head?
what a muskrat is, but if I had to guess, it would be what's on Gary's head. 100%. No
Well,
idea what a muskrat looks like.
It's
I'm just
definitely like a
guessing it's
huge raccoon-looking thing. So
I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen one either.
it's like a big rat.
Yeah.
a big rat. All right.
A
I
ferret-looking.
I was
fucking-
close.
Yeah.
Are they hairy?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
good. Oh man, I saw a possum on my Ring security camera the other day. I'm the biggest little bitch when it comes to those things. Let me tell you.
Yeah, those things are gnarly, man.
have
They're
rabies, though.
nasty fucks.
Bro,
What?
they have these fucking skunks hanging out outside this fucking apartment complex. Somebody set up like an area for stray cats where they're feeding the stray cats. So a bunch of skunks started eating the cat food. So we have like 3 skunks that are just running around outside the
Are
apartment
they
complex.
stinking it up or what? Are they?
I haven't smelled them. They haven't sprayed anybody, I guess, yet. But yeah,
Oh,
I can't believe they're
fuck
feeding
that.
the fucking stray cats.
Yeah, the
Where do you live,
possums have
Gary? You're in
rabies.
Brooklyn, Jersey.
I live in a big apartment complex in Secaucus.
So it's Jersey, right? Secaucus.
Yeah. Right across. It's like right next to the Lincoln Tunnel. It's like 10, 15-minute ride.
That's kind of acceptable. I mean, it's not New York, but it's kind of acceptable.
It's kind of acceptable.
Yeah.
Proximity-wise, it's close enough.
Still Jersey.
Oh man.
So how's your nutrition looking, John? Do you ever take advice from Chris over here?
I mean, every time I ask Chris, I'll give him this credit because he knows how horrible of a listener I am. He'll give me good answers, but I just don't follow it as much as I should. When I have to, it's kind of, I'm just one of those type guys. I've just gotten that habit that when it comes time to fight, like that's when I should go on a strict diet, just because that's the way I've always had to do it throughout my career. So I don't have to go on as strict a diet now, but when it comes 6 to 8 weeks when I know out from a fight, that's when I started eating cleaner and stuff like that. And at this point, I mean, if you don't know what to eat cleaner, then I'm in trouble.
So when he was making 205, he was so big, so big. I helped him with a lot of those weight cuts when he's fighting in the ring combat, and even the first couple UFC fights in Vegas. You know, we would go out as a team, we'd all be together. And him making 205 was crazy.
It was a hard weight cut, huh?
Hard weight. He's just a big guy. He's a really big guy. For him to weigh 205 even for a minute to step on the scale is is nuts. I mean, we did it. It wasn't that bad
Yeah.
when we went through it a bunch of times. Like we had it down. We knew what to do. We knew where your weight would be. But no, it was work. As all elite guys at the high level, everybody's big. So
Chris, do you feel like the weight cuts don't matter as much for boxing because it seems like they don't cut nearly as much weight as the guys in MMA, even though the weigh-in is actually the same structure?
Yeah. Do you see? I mean, Algieri is huge. He fights at 141 pounds. When I talk about weight cut, I feel like I can never complain about weight cut. The guy, I mean, it's impossible to be.
How much you walk around?
I mean,
Chris?
the guy's a nutritionist. He has to do it right. But I mean, 141 pounds. He's like 6'9". Like, I don't get it. No way.
I'm not that tall. Whenever I meet people, they're like, "I thought you were taller." I'm like, I'm not that tall. But I'm like, usually I'm cutting down from like 155, 55 to 40.
Okay.
But I'm really lean at 55. Like
Sure,
I'm like 160-ish now. Like my weight doesn't change a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's more just my body composition. But like 155, like I am like super lean. So at that point, for me to make 40, like it's all water. But no, I agree. I don't think the weight is as important. Like everybody cuts a lot of weight, at the high level of boxing, just like in MMA. But guys who are bigger, they don't carry that much of an advantage. Like look at perfect example I always like to use Canelo and Floyd Mayweather when they fought.
Yeah.
Canelo was probably 15 pounds legitimately heavier than Mayweather in the ring.
Yeah.
And he lost
Good
11 and a half.
pounds.
Yeah, and a good 15 pounds because Canelo's a big guy and Floyd's not. Floyd's not a big guy at all. He's small for 47. He's smaller than me, and I fight at 40. But and he won 11 and a half out of the 12 rounds. Like it doesn't matter as much because you don't have that body to body like in MMA where you have to be on the ground.
Right.
That makes sense.
So the carryovers are the same.
That makes sense. Yeah, because MMA is just a whole different ballgame. I mean, you're talking of cutting to 40 from 55. I mean,
These guys are
there's
cutting from
dudes cutting
70.
from 55 to 25 probably in MMA. You know what I mean? It's nuts.
Well, I think it's a trend now. What I'm starting to see a trend now is guys not cutting the weight. I think like in the beginning of my career it was huge, but I think a lot of these guys are going up in weight classes and finding success. Like look at all the dudes. You get Darren Till, and I mean, I'm just thinking of.
He's huge.
He's huge.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
but he was a 70-pounder. I mean, there's a
That's
lot
insane.
of dudes that are going up in weight class now. Gastelum, who's not a big dude, and they're doing way better. I mean, I do think me even going up to heavyweight, I think I probably should have done this a while ago. I know, Chris, you told me to do it a while ago. I mean, I just don't think. I do think it gets in your head a little bit too much, and you let it mess with you. I think cutting weight isn't as important as it. If you feel strong, if you feel like you could handle another guy's being stronger than you, or if you feel that you can be just as strong as those guys being up at another weight class, why not do it? I mean, you see it so much now. I think it's going to become a trend with guys cutting less and less weight in the.
Sure.
I said all the time with you, John. Like I'm like, what? You're strong, and you can take a shot. It's not like you're fighting these guys and you can't take power. And you're a bigger guy anyway. Like I think I always said that. I thought that you would be able to perform better without having to have to, diet yourself down or
it hurts, man. It screws you up every time. I mean, I pissed blood after I want to say maybe 5 or 6 fights just from being so dehydrated because of cutting weight, man. And it's rough now. You're not allowed to do the IV and all that stuff. It's pretty crazy, and to rehydrate, it's not an easy process, man. They're giving us a little bit more time now, but it's a hard thing to do, man. And I'm happy to move up. And I think a lot more and more guys are going to do it. I'm telling you, especially
Sure.
They're stopping. They're doing their best to stop the steroids in the UFC. I think that's gonna, a lot of those guys were using cutting agents that you can't use anymore. So 100%. I think that's a big thing that we're gonna see is a lot of guys going up in weight classes.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching a video from the Performance Institute, the Fighter Summit. Have you guys seen that video?
Oh no,
dude.
Wait, what's the video?
This guy, every time he would come on camera, he was like a one-man party, dude. Just fucking fist pumping, having a good old time. Chris, next time I go to New York, man, I want to party with this guy.
That's the guy.
We'll
go to Long Beach.
Without the fights, though.
I don't think he does that anymore. I think he's got a kid now. No more fights. And everybody knows who he is now, too.
Great. No, I probably since I started fighting, I haven't been in a fight outside of the ring. Thank God. But
Well, you were always
it
super
was.
like I'm surprised to hear about your stories in college because I remember you in the gym. Like you were just a calm dude, and you've always been a nice guy.
Yeah.
Way
I think
calm.
it calms you down, man. This whole fighting thing, you've nothing to prove. Like, who do I gotta prove? Like, you've nothing. Like, when you're this big dude, this and that, and someone starts with you, think, shit, I gotta defend myself. I gotta defend my honor. Can't just be this little bitch and walk away. Now I'm like, what the hell do I need to prove?
Yeah, who gives a fuck, right?
You're a fucking professional killer.
What else do I need? You know, like
Yeah.
I literally get paid a year's salary to punch someone in the face. Like, why do I need to prove it in a bar?
When you had your street fights, did every time you had one of them, did you break your hand or no?
Never broke my hand. Still.
Really?
He's got Neanderthal bones. Dude, I'm telling you. Fucking, watch him throw a round kick with his right leg. It's like a tree trunk, dude.
Got heavy bones, man.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I've never even. I don't even think I've even never bruised a hand. To tell you the truth.
Gloves hitting people.
Gary, some people are just built different, dog.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Like Algieri's
I'm a pussy
not
guy, I guess.
supposed to be a fighter. He's supposed to be some sort of model and like
a piano player or something.
Somewhere. His body is not built for fighting.
No. Nope.
He should be in a mankini with the thing pulled up in the back.
A male model, dude.
Yeah, I mean that's what he should be doing. But he punches something and he breaks every time he punches. The guy's made of glass.
Dude, I remember.
I haven't broken anything in a while. I figured it out. But
they got better. Thank you.
Yeah.
John, when we went out.
Every fight you broke your hand. I remember.
In the beginning, yeah. My first like 10 pro boxing fights, I broke my hand probably 4 or 5 times.
You couldn't stay active because you kept breaking your hand. It was tough, man.
That's why my left jab is so good because I broke my right hand so many times. You remember me in the gym? I'd have a cast on.
To the body. And you had to learn and you had to find a way to finish guys, so you started going to the body. That's what I remember.
That was another thing. The fights I was getting a lot of decisions like, all right, I got to start knocking guys out so I don't hurt my hands.
And just liver shot at everybody. It was awesome.
I had a lot of body shot knockouts.
John, when Chris and I went out in Los Angeles, we used to have this little game where I used to ask people, like, guess what he does?
Yeah.
And almost everyone was like, he's a male model or he's a hand model.
Not one person that will tell you a fighter. No way.
He's a sweater model.
On the hand. Yeah. I mean, that's got fighter or Joe Dirt written all over it.
Yeah.
You're just not as pretty as Chris. I'm with you, Gary. I'm with you.
All good.
But
I figured that out at an early age.
We tapped out of the model game at an early age. Is that what you
said? Yeah.
When we were training and I think I was still actually it was probably when you first started coming there. Like I think I was still kickboxing at the time too, or I was at least training with kickboxing. Some of the guys, like I would always go tanning in like the back of the gym. Like we had that little area outside, and I just lay out on like a big ass tire, and the guys always come and be like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, are you really?"
The tightest jeans on and like the weirdest. Like now I dress just like him because the guy does that stuff. I always made fun of him because he is like you are not a fighter, bro. You came in. You're to the 9 to come to the gym, bro. The guy know how to do it. His hair gel, everything.
Hey,
yo,
man.
Who is this?
Chris,
came
can you
from Long Island, you know,
bro?
Yeah.
Give me some pointers.
No, are you straight up? He used to ask me, like, okay, is this all right? Can I wear this? Or we had the same jacket too. We had that leather jacket one day.
John, don't underestimate Gary, dude. Check this guy out. You recognize this dude?
Is that Zoolander? Who is
that? That's fierce.
No, that's Simple Jack.
Oh my Simple Jack. That's Derek Zoolander if I ever seen one.
That's amazing.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Guys, man, those eyes too. Wow.
Dude, fucking beautiful eyes.
I don't know, Gary. You might have missed your boat, bro. This might be.
I tell you.
Look at that. There you go.
It's hard work making something that pretty look as bad as you're doing right now. I'll tell you. It's gotta be hard work. Ay.
Hey, John.
How did we do?
It was awesome, man. Thank you for doing this, dude.
Yeah, man, it was fun. Anytime you guys want to talk anything stupid, I'm in, man.
Dude, I haven't laughed this hard since I've been on quarantine. Thanks for coming on.
Man, seriously,
Thanks, brother.
nothing to fucking do. Nothing better. Good shit, man.
Yeah.
And hey, well, you guys go fuck yourself.
Fuck
I,
outta
I'm
here.
sure no one else will do it.
Yeah.
Dude,
He's hilarious.
He's hilarious. He's got great stories, and he's a tough fucking guy. He
I
can
was
fight.
glad I didn't get made fun of the entire time because when it
He did give you
first
some-
started, I was like, "Fuck, man,
Here.
I wasn't ready. I didn't know he was just gonna be swinging for the fences the whole time." It was all right.
Dude.
Just the beginning and the end. It's all good. I'll live.
He abused everybody in the gym. Everybody in the gym. Like,
got it. You got it,
non-stop. Non-stop.
I love it. Perfect.
But it was good, man.
I'm taking like a little day trip to Naples.
Okay.
See my cousin over there. So
Oh,
Nice.
Sunday,
Huh? Are you taking a little picnic basket over there with some white wine and some grapes?
actually,
Jesus.
we're gonna do
an
a
Easter.
football.
We're doing an Easter podcast. Is that what you're saying right now? Sunday?
I mean, there's
Easter
nothing else to
Sunday,
do.
baby. Yeah, we're not spending it with our family. We're not trying to kill them. So
I'll be
Fuck it.
cooking something nice. I think we're gonna do lobsters and steaks.
Man, you do it up
I'm gonna
right.
eat old peeps. What do you think about that? Is that part of the nutrition plan?
Yes, for you, 100%. We'll talk when you're over 30. That's when nutrition's gonna change for you. Until then, keep doing what you're doing.
Somebody just sent me several bags of bacon jerky and a big box of like XXL Slim Jims, and I've been portioning those out every day.
Bacon
Like what?
jerky is.
When you say someone, you mean like one of your booty calls or like a fan or?
I
Your
think
mom.
it's a fan. I didn't really look. They just said they were going to send me meat, and I've been looking through my DMs to figure out who it was because it wasn't somebody that I necessarily recognized right away. They're like, "I'm going to send you some meat," and I'm like, usually it works the other way around. And
I know.
and then they were like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Okay." So the first package I got was like a can of like shitty corned beef or something, and I was like, "Oh, that's not quite exactly what I thought they were talking about." And then the other packages were like beef jerky and like the Slim Jims and stuff, and they actually sent me some pretty awesome stuff. So
Not bad.
I got a
So
short UM
Do you
to say thank you.
do you randomly give out your address or what?
Oh yeah, I don't give a fuck. If you say you're gonna send me something, I'll give you my address. I don't give a shit. Especially if you say you're gonna send me meat. Are you fucking kidding me?
That's
Yeah, meat. Yup.
I'm very accessible when you say you're gonna send me meat.
100. Meat or booty?
That's it.
Same thing.
Yeah. Meat.
Not-
All right, motherfuckers.
All right,
Good
Good night.
shit.
Peace,
I
bitches.
move for no man, no man, no man, no
All right.
man, no
We'll call it a draw.
no man.
Just a flesh wound. Just a flesh wound. Just a flesh wound. Just a flesh